All right, welcome. Today, we are diving headfirst into a really powerful and honestly kind of counterintuitive idea from the book 10x is easier than 2x. So get ready because everything you think you know about success is about to get turned on its head. So let's start with the big one. This question is the entire heart of the book. And I know what you're probably thinking. No way, that sounds crazy. We're all taught that huge results demand backbreaking work, right? But what if the secret to massive growth isn't about piling more on your plate, but about a complete shift in your thinking?
I think we've all felt this at some point. You know the feeling? You're always busy, your schedule is a nightmare, you're putting in all the hours, but the results just aren't matching the effort. You're basically sprinting on a treadmill, working yourself to the bone just for a tiny little bit of progress. The book calls this the 2x trap, and frankly, it is absolutely exhausting.
So, on one hand, you have the 2x mindset. This is all about looking busy. It's about adding more things to your to do list, trying to outwork everybody else. But the 10x mindset, it's a totally different ballgame. It's laser focused on results. It's about getting rid of anything that doesn't matter and carving out a space for yourself where you're the only one doing what you do. Now, to really make this click, the book gives this fantastic example. Think about the difference between two clients. You'd assume the bigger, higher paying client would be way more work, way more demanding. But, well, this is where that paradox really starts to show up. Your $500 client? They're often full of stress, constantly needing their hand held, and they just drain your energy. But the $50,000 client, they trust you, they respect you, they get out of your way and let you do your best work. It's incredible, right? The 10x opportunity is often so much smoother than the 2x grind. Okay, so if the 2x trap is all about adding more and just grinding harder, how in the world do we get out of it? Well, the answer is what the book calls the 10x paradox, and it flips that whole approach completely upside down. This quote from Michelangelo is the perfect way to think about it. You know, when people asked him how he created the masterpiece David, he didn't talk about all the things he did to the marble. He talked about what he took away. He said he could already see David inside the stone, and his only job was to chip away everything that wasn't David. That, right there, is 10x thinking in a nutshell. So this is super important. 10x isn't just another life hack to squeeze more into your day. It's a total mindset shift. It's about going from being scattered across 100 different things to having this intense, powerful focus on the very few things that actually move the needle. It's about creating something of unbelievable quality, just like Michelangelo's David. But, let's be real for a second. Letting go is tough. It's scary. We hang on to projects and habits that we know are holding us back just because they feel familiar. To make that 10x leap, you need what psychologists call psychological flexibility. It's basically the skill of feeling that fear, acknowledging that discomfort, but not letting it control you, so you can make the tough choices and commit to your goal. Okay, so the mindset makes sense, but how do we actually put this into practice? The secret weapon here is taking a concept you probably already know, the 80-20 rule, and using it to be absolutely ruthless about what you cut out. You've probably heard of this, right? The Pareto principle. About 80% of your best results, your happiness, your income, whatever, come from just 20% of your efforts. That means a huge 80% chunk of what you do every day, the trivial many, it's not really producing much value at all. And this is where the magic really happens. See, a 2x goal is small enough that you can just keep doing that 80% of busy work and try to do it a little better. But a 10x goal, it's so big, so audacious that it forces you to get honest. There's no way to get there by just working harder. You have to figure out your vital 20% and find the courage to just drop the other 80%. The process sounds simple, but man, it takes guts to actually do it. Step 1 is getting brutally honest with yourself. What activities, what clients, what things in your life are actually giving you those amazing results? Then comes the really hard part. You have to eliminate everything else. That's the subtraction. That's how you reveal the masterpiece. So, what is the whole point of this? What are we really aiming for? And what's the number one method to get there? Let's talk about the frameworks that really define the destination and the journey for this 10x path. Because the real prize here, the true goal, it's not just about a bigger number on a spreadsheet. It's about a fundamental change in the quality of your life. It's about achieving what the authors call the 4 freedoms. And these are the 4 pillars of a true 10x life. You've got freedom of time, which means you're in charge of your own schedule. Freedom of money, so you're not stressed about finances. Freedom of relationship, so you can surround yourself with awesome, energizing people. And finally, freedom of purpose, doing the work that you and only you were put here to do. This is the why behind it all. So what about the how? If you're going to get rid of 80% of what you do, how does that stuff still get done? The whole strategy comes down to a really profound shift in thinking that's captured in just 3 little words.
This right here is the engine that makes 10x possible. From now on, whenever you're faced with a task that isn't part of your core 20%, you stop yourself from asking, how can I get this done? That question is a trap. It keeps you stuck doing everything. Instead, you ask a different question. Who is the perfect person to handle this? This frees you up to live in your unique zone of genius, and it empowers other people to do the same.
Now, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do we make it feel real? Let's wrap this up with an incredible true story from the book that shows exactly what can happen when you define a crystal clear, ridiculously ambitious 10x goal. So, back in 1990, Jim Carrey was not the superstar we all know, not even close. He was a struggling comedian, he was broke, and he was just trying to get a foothold in Hollywood. But he had this huge 10x vision for himself, and he did something to make it tangible. He wrote himself a check, and he didn't write it for some realistic goal. He wrote it for an amount that must have seemed absolutely insane at the time, $10 million. A number that big forces you to think and act differently. And this is the part of the story that just gives you chills. He put a date on it, Thanksgiving, 1995. And just before that date arrived, he got the part in Dumb and Dumber and was paid $10 million. He didn't just get close to his goal. He hit the exact number he wrote down 5 years earlier. That is the unbelievable power of 10x commitment. So as we wrap up, the big question for you isn't what more can I do? The real, the more powerful, the 10x question is this. What is the 80%, the tasks, the clients, the worries that you must have the courage to let go of so that you can finally make your own 10x leap?